Okay, in continuation of what I said about the unfaithful husband and the wife, they need to be studied very closely. And also, we need to take a very close look at their marriage relationship. Spiritualizing and saying what they did is sin and condemning them and kicking them out of our family and the church and going for divorce is not the solution. There may be deep rooted issues. For example, one may be a passive wife or a husband, the other one may be more active in sexual matters. So these things has to be discussed and find a solution. That is why I encourage premarital counseling when people can discuss these issues. If they are not fit for the marriage, don't get married. And they have to find a way of living because some people may not be able to lead a happy married life. Now, that should be the end of what I wrote the questions and answers. And today's subject, we are going to discuss what we can do as caring person. I am purposely not using the word counseling because many of you are not going to be professional counselors, or you may not be using the word counseling. But as a caring person, what can we do in this world full of turmoil? If you want, you can take notes. I will go point by point. We lost 5 minutes, but I hope we can catch it up. As Christians, because all of you are attending the classes are Christians, we should be different and example of Jesus, and we must be moving with the compassion. And I must say, Jesus, if you say one word about him, he is full of compassion. And at the same time, look at our own lives. Are we having that attitude most of the time? When we see someone is suffering, not necessarily mental illness, any sort of suffering, it can be physical, it can be emotional, it can be mentally, it can be spiritually. We must have the compassion. That is number 1 point. Second, be a good listener. I will go very slowly. Even if we take 2, 3 classes, it's fine. Hearing is a term used to describe physiological sensory processes through which auditory sensory responses are received by the ear and then transmitted to the brain. I hope that's clear. We hear it through the ear, then we transmit to the brain. Listening is a very complex psychological process by which a person makes sense or understand the auditory impulses. I will explain it. We hear something and then it goes through various processes. It makes sense to us. Otherwise, we hear some noises only. Hearing is a natural process that doesn't require any effort on our part. We hear a lot of noises. People talk to us. We hear sounds. Whether we like it or not, we hear it. We don't need to do much about it. But when it comes to listening, it is a learned process. It needs active involvement on our part as a good listener. I will repeat. Hearing doesn't take much effort or maybe no effort on our part. But listening, what we hear, we process, we understand, it takes effort on our side. So the second quality we need is listening ability. Be a good listener. If the time permit, I will be dealing with this particular subject in length in one or two classes. But this particular portion is related to counseling. Bible says we must be slow to speak, quick to listen. James chapter 1 verse 19. We must have a motivation to listen. When a husband or wife talk to us, talk to each other, or a preacher preaches in the church, a friend tell us the pain, the stories, then we must have a motivation to listen. So if you want to have a caring ministry, whatever the name you call it, you must have an inner motive to listen to other people. Let me tell you this with a painful heart. What is lacking in this world, or one of the biggest problem we all are facing, we don't have many friends who listen to us. Husband need to listen to wife. Wife need to listen to husband. Pastor need to listen to the church. Church need to listen to the pastor. We see a lot of turmoil going around us. We must be good listeners. We also need to be empathetic to the person and their needs. Avoid any form of prejudgment. Suppose somebody tried to tell us something, immediately we at times form a judgment. Oh, this is the problem. Please don't do that. concentrate on that person, what they are talking to us with a good eye contact. The third point is, this is very crucial. It's good for all of us, whether we are pastors, church leaders, ordinary people. We must be willing to accept people as they are. It's a very difficult situation. I may have told here or some other class, I used to teach, even now I teach about similarity between humans. For example, many people say, I know that person. But let me tell you, we hardly know about other person. So what we see, what we experience, may be a different person than the reality. So no matter what, we have to accept that person as they are. For example, the thief on the cross, the compassionate Jesus. Did he ask 1,000 questions? No. He accepted him just like he is. It is easy to adopt a judgmental attitude. We need to learn to hate sin, not the sinner. Let me spend 1 or 2 minutes more into it because this is very crucial. We treat people suffering from mental illness as not attractive. Most often, most of these people are treated like lepers of the Old Testament. Nowadays, things have improved. In the Old Testament, what happened? They were not supposed to mingle with other people. They were kicked out from the village, from the society. So mentally ill people or anybody who is suffering in this world through some problem or another, they are not lepers like the Old Testament times. There is another group of lepers, people who are having family problem or divorced. They should not be treated like lepers of the Old Testament. So as a caring person interested in counseling, please don't treat other people as lepers in the Old Testament. Accept them as they are. If Jesus can accept people shunned by the society like lepers or prostitutes or murderer or a thief, remember We who follow him need to look at other people with the same compassionate eyes. When Jesus looked at us, unattractive, imperfect, sinful, and dirty people, what did he do? He accepted us just like a human being because we are created in his image. So the first quality we all need is accepting other people as they are. I heard about a psychiatrist. He's a Christian psychiatrist. He used to keep a stone and a rusty nail on his table. I repeat, he used to keep a stone and a rusty nail on his table. Why? His explanation is the stone shows the Bible story. When the lady was brought to Jesus, Jesus said, those let him without sin cast the first stone. So it reminds the psychiatrist. And the rusty nail reminded him of the love of Jesus that was displayed on a wooden, rugged cross. And I found that this story, this example, is very meaningful even for me and for all of you. Keep a stone in your house and a rusted nail. Look at it once in a while, and that will help us to accept people as they are. Number 4, learn to empathize with people who are suffering. I already mentioned this in the other point, but I will elaborate now. Sympathy is a feeling of sorry for someone who is suffering, while empathy is an attempt to think, feel, or experience like that person in front of us. If we want to have a real communication with anyone, husband or wife, children, parents, pastor, church members, we must be able to communicate at a feeling level. It is easy to say, sorry, you are going through all this problem. But it is better to have a feeling towards them, understand their pain. Fifth point is we need to understand and distinguish the difference between the cause and the symptoms. For example, somebody who is a shy and sensitive person, they always avoid other people. Avoidance is a symptom, but the cause is what we need to understand. In this particular case, possibly he was brought up by a very strict father, always correcting and always showing importance to the negative things. So, what is a symptom? Avoidance. What is the cause? A strict parent. Some time back, I handled a case of a man. He married, he remarried, but he is going through a lot of problems. He will, because he is not willing to face the reality. The summary of his problem was his father was a military person who taught him the military style discipline in his life. If anybody want to know what it is, call me privately, I will tell you. Because it may sound very awkward. Both of his marriages failed because of how he was trained in the home. It's very hard for him to come out unless he go through a lot of counseling. Concentrate on the cause of the problem rather than the symptom. It's like any profession, medical profession. The doctors will try to find out why this happened, not simply the symptoms. Then only real treatment can happen. It is something like we see a roots of the tree can be hidden, deeply rooted issues in regard to our self-image may be hidden due to one reason or other, maybe childhood, maybe the circumstances. So I hope that point is clear. Rather than treating the symptoms, we have to look for the causes. Why that person behaves that way. The sixth point is we need to learn how to keep confidence. It's very crucial. I'm not talking about professional counseling now. Even as a pastor, even as a church leader, even as a lay person, I am pleading with all of you. Learn to keep the confidence. If somebody shares something to you, I usually repeatedly tell them, this is between you and me. Because I had many bad experiences where people spread what I told in private. So the question which we all need to ask us, if we want to be a caring individual, even forget about the word counseling, can we keep confidence which people trust us? Even sharing the matter for prayer, we have to be careful. Recently, something happened. I will tell you one example. Somebody who attended this group referred one person to me in a faraway land. That person gave two names. One is my name, another is another person. So that particular person called that person first, and immediately that person said, "Could you please give a summary of your problem to me?" So that person concluded, person with the problem concluded, "It is not nice for me to continue talking to this person. I don't know that person. How can I give something in writing?" See, in my case also, sometimes I ask the people to give me in writing, but only after establishing a contact. For example, I assure them whatever you tell me is confidential. So, confidence is very, very important. Any one of you, pastors, laymen, church leaders, counselors, doctors, pharmacists, anybody who are attending this class, please keep private things private unless that person give us permission. Even the matter somebody tell us for prayer, unless that person permit us, we are not supposed to tell the name. Gossip comes with it. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 19. Gossip betrays a confidence. So that is a very important point we all must keep in mind. No gossip as much as possible. Don't talk about other people unless it's for a positive purpose. And also, if somebody shares something with you, don't tell to a third person. Not even to your wife, not even to your husband, not even to your neighbor, not even to your children. One more point I will say, then we will close for today because of the lack of time. We must be balanced in our approach. Many of us have the tendency to spiritualize everything. We spiritualize everything about the war, about the calamity, about the earthquake, about sickness, about people's problems. Be careful. What we need to remember is we don't have all the answers for all the problems in the world. There will be some people who need our advice. while other people want their problem solved. Majority of the people need a listening ear or to understand their pain. In that connection, instead of words of condemnation, we must be having the words of forgiveness so that they can come out of guilt and suffering. Some people may need correction in love. We must be very careful, or maybe better to say, we should not jump to conclusions or give immediate answers. This is where we need to learn to listen and we need wisdom from above. Quoting Bible verses when somebody come to us with a problem. Some Bible verses may be appropriate at the right time, in the right context, and we need to be very sensitive what we say. I'm sorry we couldn't complete this session because time is running out. We have many other important things to discuss. We will continue that next week. And I hope and pray that these simple tips or lessons will help us to be better person, better human beings, better husband, better wife, better church member, better pastor. Some of us may be thinking, oh, I know all these things. Well, if we all know all these things, the world would have been much better. So thank you very much. Please stay for 1 or 2 minutes. We will continue this next week. Good night and good morning. Thank you for coming.